Lou Thesz faithfully defended his world heavyweight championship.
Rogers strut. Kowalski's got him right where he wants him.
Dory Funk Jr. wanting that World Heavyweight Championship.
10 pounds of pure gold.
Simon Felder's Dusty Rhodes has just become the World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion.
Presenting the greatest organization in wrestling history.
We always deliver on our promises at the National Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah, but pretty hard, and look at what are you going to work now? Oh!
Hey everybody, it's Durger time. Thank you for joining me once again for another episode of NWA The Dynasty. We got a pay-per-view coming up in just 4 days in the save. We have Codymania coming in. As we can see here, going to be a 3-hour show. I believe, we'll double check that. 3-hour show for our pay-per-view. And we, of course, are going to be running it on our final month of Fight before we look around or re-up it. We're probably going to re-up it. That ends up, it's probably going to be the best pay-per-view deal for us, but we'll have to remember this time to actually put it on pay-per-view because we didn't do that the last pay-per-view. So something we have to keep in mind. Financially, though, we're looking pretty good. We do have this last month of IWTV, but we've already moved over to Fight TV. So this is going to expire. I believe we've been putting it on Fight TV already, which I didn't think you were able to do. I thought it wouldn't have let us, but it seems like we did. This expires in 6 days and has no episode limit, so it's fine. But we've already, I think, gone on to Fight TV. IWTV did give us a higher revenue share from the looks of it, and they're also on demand, but I think we just have a much larger audience on Fight TV, and I think it's reflective of our finances already, because in one show, we've made $14,000 in broadcast revenue just from advertisements. That's more than we did for an entire month of shows. So based on that, I think we're going to be A-okay. And that's with a lower broadcast revenue split, too. So we'll have to see if that shakes out the same. But we have a pay-per-view. Big show. We have, as we know from the last episode, we got a triple threat between Remy Zayn, Cody, and Kevin Steen for the title. We know Eddie and Juice Robinson are going to have a street fight. We know Ricky Starks is going to be facing Jacob Fatu for the title to defend the television title. And we know, we have a couple other matches going on, obviously. New Horsemen are going to have to face Killer Elite Squad for the titles. Allison Kay and Ramona Riot going to be going head-to-head. And then Bobby Roode is challenging Tim Storm Jr. And obviously we're going to have more matches, but I think that's the bulk of what's going on in Codymania. So with that said, let's go ahead and get over to the show and see what we have in store. All right, guys, we are here. And before we do anything, we're going to click this. We're going to click use this broadcast. We're going to click save this selection. Sure, you want to save the selection. If you continue, you cannot commit to another of these broadcast events. Yeah. Because we have this selected. We're good. We're broadcasting on Fight, people. We're actually going to show our pay-per-view on a freaking pay-per-view. We got it going. All right, let's go ahead and check out our backstage incidents. Nothing but protege work, it looks like. That's always great. QT's doing a great job with that. And then locker room controls. I think we're going to probably give an open forum. Some people are a little upset being left off. And we're just going to let them air their grievances. Also gives me an idea of maybe who I want to put on the show tonight. Matt Cardona interested. Matt Cardona's probably, honestly, going to be his contract's going to just be let go. I really only had him there for one show. And I don't really have a plan for him. So let me know. If you guys got an idea and you want to do something with him, let me know. But right now, it was sort of just a one-off thing that I just signed him up for. And I don't really have any creative plans for him at this time. We have plenty of people, so I'm not really that concerned. and that's fine. There's neither here nor there. 774 people. So I think we're just gonna pick the best option, and fill that up, and go ahead and book the show. Let's go ahead. Let's go to it. Looks like we did have some absent workers. Black Taurus working for Lucha Libre tonight. That's fine. We didn't actually have any plans for Black Taurus here tonight. So we're good to go. Catch you guys on the flip. Alright guys, we have a full show, including one pre-show match. Could have done more pre-show matches, but I want to keep the cost down a little bit. We definitely put everybody on this card. Well, not everybody. There's going to be definitely some people upset that they weren't on the card. But overall, we got pretty much everything we wanted. Some big matches, a lot of big matches actually. We will see how it all shakes out. But with that said, let's go ahead and get to the show. Starting our only pre-show match in Codymania, we got Breeze and Sleaze versus the Von Erichs. We have Breeze and Sleaze go over the former champions in 11 minutes, pinning Ross Von Erich with a Malibu Sleaze. Overall, this is pretty okay. Zicky Dice and Matthias Breeze are both actually better than the Von Erichs at this point, so giving them a win here seemed like it made a lot of sense, and ultimately kind of propel them into potentially the tag team scene here, giving them a little bit of an opportunity there to kind of show what they're made of. Because definitely with the Smoking Aces kind of disbanded, sort of tenuously, like we haven't really heard much from it. And after Ace Austin, we kind of want to give Zicky Dice something to do, and it seems like maybe being in the tag scene is probably a good idea for him. It's a 53, not too bad. Starting to show off, we have oh, this is in the wrong spot. I was like, this is a segment later, so we already screwed that up. But we'll go ahead and go further on from here. We'll start the show off actually with Bobby Roode versus Tim Storm Jr. opening the show. It does okay, 55. Bobby Roode's got a 61. Tim Storm Jr.'s got a 51. It's not much build to this story, and Bobby Roode quickly kind of takes out Tim Storm here. 15 minutes, defeats him. Tim Storm's been trying to be the big tough guy, and he kind of ran into a glorious return for Bobby Roode. And Bobby Roode wipes the floor with him. Hits a 55, not too bad. Afterwards, we have Bobby Roode struggling to follow without a script, apparently. All he had to do was grin. He grins, he celebrates his win, and he offers a hand to Tim Storm Jr., who's dejected on the ground. Tim Storm accepts reluctantly. It seems like Bobby Roode's going to take Tim Storm under his wing. Poor Tim Storm Jr. is moving from one group to another, desperate to try to figure out his place in it all. And Bobby Roode seems to be giving him that opportunity, maybe see something in him. And they both walk back together to the back of the entrance. So overall, pretty okay segment, except for Bobby Roode apparently struggling to remember to grin. But he did okay, and we move on from there. We have what should have been that beginning segment that got in the wrong spot. This is just a very quick match. Got the crowd hotter. We have an elimination match here. It's Axel versus Mance versus Homicide versus Casey Navarro versus The Butcher. This all went wrong. I couldn't seem to, in this segment, actually determine who was supposed to be the final one. Actually, I wanted Mance to be the final one. It looks like he was second to last. But ultimately, Axel wins. There's some shenanigans that aren't mentioned in here, namely that Axel, being part of Cody's Rhodes Dynasty, got assistance from the Knights, aka the Order, who came in and kind of gave some distraction and help after the match, which was that initial segment. Mance kind of had some words for Axel and kind of confronted him about the shenanigans, and instead the Order blindsided him, and all three attacked Mance, starting a feud between Axel and Mance and the Order here, and kind of giving them a little bit of a story. This match itself, for a lower card, actually did pretty okay. Butcher got his debut, and despite not winning, got a pretty great debut for the Butcher gimmick. We're probably going to put him in a stable with somebody. We'll have to figure out where we want him. But I think a good mid-card hand. He's always going to do pretty well. He did a 51 here. Not the best performer. That actually is Mance here with a 58. Axel with a 52. Then Homicide and KC going with a 44 and 38 respectively. Not bad. Got the crowd hotter. Overall, pretty okay match for the beginning of the show. And then we have our first of our title matches. We got the New Horsemen versus the Killer Elite Squad. This does okay. I would have thought it would have been a little bit better with Lance in the match. But overall, it gets a 50. Pillman has a 55. Anderson has a 41. Dave Boy Smith Jr. has a 53. Lance has a 69. So, it needed... I don't know why it got such a lower segment here, but it had good wrestling, had decent reaction from the crowd. The New Horsemen are able to retain and defeat the Killer Elite Squad. Pillman Jr. pins David Boy Smith Jr. with a fast roll-up. We keep them strong. We don't make it a clean win, but they do make defense number 3 of their tag titles. Brock obviously struggling here. We gave Pillman the win. We've been giving Brock a lot of the wins here, but in this point, we had Pillman step up and pin Davey Boy Smith Jr. here, keeping Lance Archer also strong for an inevitable singles run and potentially a rematch option here, because the pin was a very fast roll up. It was not a he caught Davey Boy Smith Jr. In an inopportune time. It wasn't like they beat him, clean on the mat. So there's a little bit of a wiggle room and opportunity here for a rematch of some sort if we want to go down that route. But either way, we can actually keep Lance, and to a lesser extent, we keep David Boy Smith Jr. relatively strong and still give the Horsemen another win as we kind of try to continue to build them up. Would have liked a higher rating here, especially considering Lance was in it. Not sure if we can really see why and divine why. I don't really see anything particular here. But that's fine. A 50 is fine for the lower card. And we're hoping that some of the higher matches here deliver a little bit higher of a score for us. So we'll see how it goes. This match did better than I thought it would. Again, trying to build Delilah Doom as a sort of women's undercard project. It's not going incredibly well. But we're still sticking with it. Delilah Doom's had some guff with Kimberly, and we give Delilah Doom a big win here. Let her beat Kimberly. Kimberly had a 50. Delilah Doom had a 39. Like, not great, right? Overall, though, the match is a 47, which is pretty good. I don't think that's that big of a deal. Ultimately, this match here was to cool the crowd, which it did. Keep the crowd balance, which is sort of our goal here. We have some matches in this night that have a potential to burn out these 786 people here in the St. Petersburg Coliseum, so we want to make sure that we're not doing that. And ultimately, we give Delilah a big win on a pay-per-view, which hopefully should boost her popularity a little bit. Afterwards, we just have her celebrating the win, struggling to go off script. She can't. I always forget to put the scripting on there. She's just acting. I don't think the acting part should have a script, but or entertainment. She was just entertaining or charisma. Maybe I should have done charisma instead of entertainment, but it is silly that the scripting isn't just defaulted. This hurts her. It's a 38, but that's fine. It's like a 1-minute segment. We got the street fight. Juice Robinson's been all up in Eddie Kingston's business for a while. Been a big pain in the butt for Eddie Kingston here. And Juice has been getting cheap wins and cheating, and Eddie Kingston said, partner, we're going to do it. We're going to fight. It's going to be a street fight. And it is. It's a bloody, brutal match. Gets a 62. Eddie's in his domain, and he just whips the shit out of Juice Robinson. 14 minutes, he gets Juice in a submission. We got weapons. We got all the fun stuff here. Juice took a stunt bump during this match. Eddie's at a 65. Juice at a 59. Had great wrestling. Good heat. Can't ask for more. 62. Very good segment here. Afterwards, Eddie, bloodied up, offers a hand to Juice, wants to shake his hand, say, listen, I brought you there. Let's settle this. Let's be done. Juice, though, just rejects it and walks away. So we don't know if this is really done or not, if it's going to come back. But for Eddie, the beef squashed. He got his win. He brought Juice to the limit and beat him, and wanted to kind of just walk away from it. Juice not giving Eddie that respect, which certainly is going to be something that's going to probably haunt Eddie for a while and be a thorn in his side. But for now, it seems like this feud's over. And Eddie has a big win on a pay-per-view, building that momentum back up. He does a masterful job in this segment, as does Juice. Gets us a 62. Crowd ate up this sort of closing segment to this match. We got Colt Cabana and Warhorse versus the Cologne Dynasty. Colt Cabana and Warhorse defeat the Colognes in 12 minutes. Colt submits Orlando with an inverted Boston Crab. We went too long here, and this match hurt. It was a comedy match. This should have been a little bit shorter. This, again, was here to cool the crowd. But seems like maybe we went a little too long. So always hard to remember. I think you have to be under like 10 minutes for a comedy match. So probably 12 minutes was too much. Should have cut that down a little bit more. And we suffered for that. Not a huge deal, but definitely not the segment we wanted here. But we gave Colt another win. And once again, the lights going out. And the crowd going, ooh. And come back on and nothing's there. It just seemed like maybe a technical glitch. Colt looks around confused, like kind of expecting someone to be there to beat the crap out of him, but nothing's there. He shrugs it off, shakes Warhorse's hand, walks away. And yeah, ultimately we have a 43 for the segment. Improvising his reaction very well. Does a better job at this than the match itself, unfortunately. But that was not really necessarily them. It was a little bit more the length of the match, kind of just going on a little too long. We have our women's bout. Our women's title doesn't do great. It's 42. We got the crowd hotter. This suffered because this was the 5th time we've done this recently. I guess. I guess that's true, and that definitely had a big penalty for us. This should have been like a 50, but ultimately we had a 42, which is unfortunate. Allison Kay, though, once again defeats Ramona, makes defense number 3 of the World Women's title. Allison Kay looking unstoppable at this point, has been running through everybody, ran through Ramona, ran through Jamie Hayter, running through anybody that challenges her, she will beat. And unfortunately, though, the segment a little weak for us. Afterwards, Allison Kay does a little decent job here, gets us to a 50, just kind of standing tall, holding the belt up. We get a shot of Ramona looking dejected, and Allison Kay just seeming just unstoppable. So again, now it's the time of who the hell challenges Allison? Is she even done? We're going to continue to run this and figure out what we're going to do, but Allison is on fire. and we'll have to see who the next challenger to step up is. But overall, pretty happy with this. We got an entrance for our TV title match. Ricky Starks comes out to the cheers of the crowd. Nick Aldis by his side in support. Aldis has said, "Listen, I'm here with you, bud." The two have had a budding friendship after the tournament, and Nick Aldis, despite not winning the tournament and Ricky going on, having a sense of friendship and competitive, agreement with each other. Nick seems to respect Ricky a lot and is by his side in support. Had commented recently that Fatu didn't have anybody beside him, and that lack is going to be the thing that hampers him because he's too mean. Nobody wants to be around him. So this does pretty well. We gain some heat for this television championship match here. And we move on to Jacob Fatu's entrance. So we get another big entrance here. Fatu comes out, but this time brings some family. Looks like he listened to Nick Aldis, and he brings his uncle out, the former Rikishi. We got Uncle Fatu debuting here, gets a great reaction from the crowd. He's not doing the Rikishi WWE stuff, but he comes out kind of looking like a badass. Jake Fatu took Aldis's words to heart, having some family ringside to support him, and probably cheat and do what you need to do, and basically keep Aldis away if needed. And we start the match. And the match is great. 56, not too bad. This should have been higher again, but I don't know what's going on. We did drift a little bit here. Seems the definite lack of psychology on display. So that is unfortunate. In terms of ring notes here, it was just a regular match. So that's kind of a bummer that we struggled with psychology. But it's considered a superb wrestling match, and it had good heat. It's only a 56, though. I would expect it higher. Starks at a 60. Fatu has a 70. But Fatu defeats Ricky Starks. He lost the tournament, but Ricky loses his first major title challenge here. And he does it from interference, but not interference from his uncle, from somebody else, from Journey, his brother, who shows up out of nowhere. 20 minutes, submission. Fatu gets him in a submission, wins the world television title. What the hell happened? Let's break it down here. We're going to get into a massive segment here. The final minutes of the match are chaos. Nick Aldis is the cause of an accidental disruption that leads to the ref being knocked out one time. Ricky is looking at the ref, trying to wake him back up. He's blindsided by a figure in a hood who slams him with his own television title belt. Fatu pins him, but Ricky Starks kicks out, and as the ref slowly crawls into place, the room erupts, and as he kind of kicks out, Fatu pushes Ricky into a corner, and again, the ref gets caught again and knocked out. And now two more figures emerge to attack Ricky. The numbers are too strong, and eventually Fatu is able to hit him with a mighty moonsault and then get him into a submission. Another person shows up and throws the ref into place. They look for it, and eventually Ricky has to tap out. Fatu wins the TV title. The bell rings. The Hooded Fingers all attack Starks and Aldis. Just a massive amount of people in the ring. It's an entire unit of the family. Seems like Jacob Fatu listened to Nick Aldis and said, family, huh? I'll bring the family. Fatu grabs the mic as Aldis and Ricky Starks are just obliterated. So afterwards, Fatu grabs that mic, surrounds himself with the people. We see his brother. We see his cousins, his uncle, his brother's tag team partner. There's a whole mess of people here. It's just giant unit of people. Jacob grabs the microphone, growling into it, looking down at Ricky Starks, who's just now bloodied up and beat up. He says, "Disrespect. Nothing but disrespect. Your friend over there said I was nothing alone. Well, that's wrong. Because I'm more. I'm more with my family. And my family is bigger than yours, Ricky. This is the real bloodline." He throws the mic down at Ricky, holds up the gold. He's got a monstrous army of people around him. And seems like we have an invasion from Fatu here at his family members, calling himself out as the true bloodline. So, you know, we have this this massive group here now surrounding Fatu, and Ricky just dejected, having just been demolished by this group here. And now to our main event. We start off with some entrances. We have Steen entering. He's looking vicious. He's looking ready to fight. He gets the crowd hyped for his entrance. He's followed by Remy, who the crowd roars for. Their heart is with him, though apparently not as much as Steen. We've got a little bit of a better segment for his entrance. He looks determined to win and ready to fight. And of course, we have a gaudy, over-the-top entrance full of pyro and fireworks and you know, everything for Cody as he enters ready to fight to a chorus of boos. Our champion currently, Brandy at toe here with Cody, ready to fight, ready to go. And we have a hell of a match, 70 for main segment rating. It's exceptional. It's a long one. It's 32 minutes. Ultimately, Cody retains, defeating Kevin Steen and Remy Zane in 32 minutes. Cody pins Remy with a crossroads. Cody making defense number 4 of the world's television title. Cody had a 74. Steen had an 83. Remy had a 74. The color commentary struggled here. Steen took a massive stunt bump in this match. Got the crowd buzzing. Really great match, but ultimately Cody's still champion. After action report here, we see why Cody's able to capitalize on Remy and Kevin's hatred for each other. The two just won't stop to focus on the match at hand, and Cody's able to constantly slink away and let the two weaken each other until ultimately Kevin is incapacitated in the match. He's removed completely from the match after a huge bump from a stack of tables that Remy had put up. But he also has made his wounds on Remy. He is tired, blown out, exhausted. Cody is fresh in this match still because these two constantly were going at each other, and Cody kept on was able to come in and attack a little bit. One crossroads is all it takes. Count of 3, a chorus of boos. Cody retains. We end the show with a beautiful camera shot in an angle that captures all 3 men. The furthest away from the camera, we have Steen, who's in a mangled and twisted mess under a pile of broken tables. On the other end, a little bit further away, closer to the screen, I should say, we have Cody up on the ropes, holding the title up to the fans, the crowd booing. And then closest to the camera, we have in the corner a dejected Remy Zane sitting in the corner, looking devastated, looking just total disbelief that this wasn't supposed to play out this way. Overall, this segment gets a 69, ends the show well. Let's see how Codymania did. 60, pretty good. We increased our popularity everywhere. Very good. I don't think we have any problems with anybody. We will give some encouragement to people where needed. I don't think there was anybody who was off their game. Someone was off their game. I don't even remember who it was. Von Erichs or something like that. It doesn't really matter. We're probably not going to give them anything bad. Let's give Zicky Dice. Give him a hug. He needs it. There you go. All right. We had a great show. Obviously, we're done with Fight until we're not. So we'll have to look at what we can pick up for our pay-per-view. I think it's probably just going to be Fight again. I'm probably just going to pick it up again. Codymania was considered awesome. Very good. Hopefully we got some viewer reports here. Remy Zane's opinion says, Warhorse is charismatic. Viewing figures 18,000 viewers with a 0.03, which is not a lot, but, better than nothing. Finances gave us 14 grand in pay-per-view revenues. Not too bad overall. It's not crazy great, but not horrible. Worker expenses are about in line with what we would expect. So hopefully with this new broadcast deal, we can do pretty okay. We'll have to look here to see what the pay-per-view options are available for us. Any type of pay-per-view. Wish I could pick any pay-per-view. Nobody available for terrestrial. Probably no cable. Probably only going to be internet, to be honest. Internet pay-per-view. That's basically going to be Fight again. So we're going to have to negotiate with Fight, probably for a new deal. And, the goal hopefully is, would they give us a time slot instead of on demand? They would give us early evening, but we would have to pay. They would only give us 10%. What if I did 3 months? Give us, not willing to do that revenue split with us. Really? Are you that much of a jerk? Okay. What kind of revenue split would you do with us? 45? 40? 40. Okay. So, 3 months, unlimited, on demand. Afternoon, they would be happy. They're not keen on us being early evening. We'd have to pay $7,500 per show, but we would have a time slot, which might not be bad. It might not be bad to pay the money just to have a time slot. Graveyard, they would be happy with, but we're not happy with Graveyard. In general, getting a time slot is always better. Always better than on demand, because the only people that are going to see you on demand are people that are coming to you. It may be worth it for the $7,500 per show. If we're making $1,400 from the pay-per-view, that just means that we're going to be paying a little bit out of pocket. That might be worth it, especially for only 3 months. Let me know in the comments. That is your homework for this episode. Do we take this? Do we take a 3-month deal for $7,500 per show for per event? We know we're making 14 from it. So we're just going to take half of that revenue, but try to apply it to a better time slot to get more eyeballs on the show, which hopefully also should increase our revenue a little bit. I think personally, that's the decision to make over going to on demand. But let me know if you guys think that's a disastrous idea or not. And then we'll make the decision in the next episode. But that was it for me today, guys. Thank you all for joining me for the Codymania. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you are hitting the subscribe button. We do also do notifications so you're notified. Hit that little bell icon. We are growing massively. I'm thankful for that. And I would like to continue to grow the channel so we can do cool things. But that is it for us. Thank you all. See you next time for another episode of the Dynasty. Thanks for watching.